The Book of Job, where faith is molded through pain.
The book of Job stands out as the most enigmatic book in the Bible. The place, time, date, or regnal period of the events are never specified. Job himself, his friends, and Elihu do not appear in any other book. The authorship is also uncertain. It could have been written by Moses, Solomon, or a post-exilic sage. The only place Job lived is the land of Uz. It is speculated that this region was somewhere around Edom, south of the Jordan, or in northern Arabia, but it is not certain. In short, Job is the most enigmatic figure in the Bible. He may never have lived. Everyone's perspective on the book of Job is different, but it is a fact that the book of Job helps those with weak faith to mature. That's how I met Job. The person being baptized in the image represents me. I was the first person to become a Christian in a large city with a small number of American missionaries. An 18-year-old Christian, alone in Samsun, Turkey, a city where everyone was Turkish and Muslim. His family was devoutly Muslim, and he had no one around him who would understand or listen. A young man who was rejected by his family, ostracized by his teachers and classmates at school. Unable to find a job because he was a Christian, he didn't know where to go, and was constantly left penniless. He joined the military to fulfill his military service, but was later arrested and imprisoned, leaving him alone. After a life spent in prison, struggling between pennies and letters, he didn't abandon God. He looked for work, but couldn't find it. When the missionaries who called him brothers returned to their country, they never spoke to him again. He sought refuge, drew near to God, and decided to read the book of Job, hoping it would help his troubles. But he couldn't accept the book of Job. How could God speak to Satan as a friend and conspire to bring 1,000 disasters upon an innocent man? He simply couldn't accept it. He found work on a farm for a pittance, handling both the office and other farm chores, and he told an English couple about his troubles. He told them he had more trouble than Job and was severely scolded. He hadn't even read beyond the 3rd chapter of Job. Then he ran away from God, refusing to even hear the American missionaries calling out to him, drinking and getting drunk, yet still longing for God. Because at 16, he had wanted to be an atheist, wealthy, and self-confident. Now, he was a man who had failed to complete his education, had been disappointed by the Christians he had always trusted, and had given up hope on life. But God always found a way to make him bow down before him, because this young man believed in God not by his own will, but because God wanted him to, by hearing the voice of the Holy Spirit. One day, while living far from God, he determinedly wanted to read and understand the entire book of Job. He was determined because this man believed in God, but didn't know God. He read the book of Job carefully, and by the final chapter, he fell to his knees and accepted, God is everything, but he is nothing. Because it says in Job chapter 38,
Who is this that obscures my plans? With words without knowledge, brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me, if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together, and all the angels are shouted for joy. Who shut up the sea behind doors, when it burst forth from the womb, when I made the clouds its garment, and wrapped it in thick darkness, when I fixed limits for it, and set its doors and bars in place, when I said, This far you may come and no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt. Have you ever given orders to the morning, or shown the dawn its place, that it might take the earth by the edges, and shake the wicked out of it? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light, and their upraised arm is broken. Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me, if you know all this. What is the way to the abode of light? And where does darkness reside? Can you take them to their places? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Surely you know, for you were already born. You have lived so many years. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth? Who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain, and a path for the thunderstorm, to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland, and make it sprout with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens, when the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen? Can you bind the chains be of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons? Or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up gods a dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? Do you send the lightning bolts on their way? Do they report to you, "Here we are"? Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens when the dust becomes hard and the clods of earth stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lioness and satisfy the hunger of the lions when they crouch in their dens? Or lie in wait in a thicket? Who provides food for the raven when its young cry out to God and wander about for lack of food?
Finally, my friend, be careful. God has chosen you and wants you to kneel before God one day, praising God as your king. Be prepared. If that day comes and you are not yet kneeling, God will break your knees and your pride and bring you to your knees.